Check out this video of Donald Trump dealing with a left-wing journalist at a recent Trump press conference. The journalist's name is Jorge Ramos from the large Spanish language channel in the US called Univision. Obviously, Ramos is taking a run at Trump over Trump's opposition to illegal immigration from Mexico. Here, take a look at it.
Okay, who's next? Yeah, please. Excuse me, sit down. You weren't called. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Go ahead. No, you don't. You haven't been called. Go back to Univision. Go ahead.
You cannot deport 11 million.
Go ahead.
You cannot deport 11 million people. You cannot build a 1900 wall. You cannot deny citizenship to children in this
Sit down, please. You weren't called.
I'm a reporter and don't touch me, sir. Don't touch me,
Go.
sir. You cannot touch me. I have the right to ask a question. I have the right to ask a question.
Just gorgeous. I tell you, sometimes Trump's antics go too far for me, but then he does something like this and totally redeems himself. It was hilarious to watch liberals react to this squabble. Oh, Trump's done it now. You don't take on media royalty like Jorge Ramos. Well, that's exactly why Trump did it, and why so many people loved him for it, and why he surely would go up in the polls because of it. Trump's success is precisely because he so clearly doesn't care about the niceties of official people, official media, official political leaders, including leaders of the Republican Party itself. Look, everyone knows Trump is too much, too noisy, too sweary, too ostentatious. His supporters are not unaware of that. You can't miss that. But that ball of fire burning so brightly, even wildly, combined with his enormous personal wealth, is precisely what allows Trump the freedom to take on every sacred cow in America that needs a good barbecuing, to take on people like the liberal media and the private club Republican insiders, and to take on issues like illegal immigration and America's appalling foreign policy surrenders. People, including me, sometimes wonder, will Trump apologize for this or for that? He mocked John McCain, a Republican senator, for being captured, it sounded like, in Vietnam. He mocked Megyn Kelly, a Fox News anchor, calling her a bimbo quite unfairly. Both comments were unfair, but he brazened through them, I think, to prove he won't submit. He'll never apologize. Now, occasionally, that kind of stubbornness is wrong, but mostly it's right. And in any event, it's a generally necessary quality in a president who needs to fix things, to fix the economy, to fix foreign policy, to fix their border. You know the old saying, reasonable people conform to the world, unreasonable people make the world conform to them. So all change obviously requires unreasonable people. People see that Trump's bull in a china shop personality could be deployed to problems that Obama hasn't or couldn't or won't fix. Sometimes you need a Trump to blast through a problem. Oh, by the way, Jorge Ramos is no reporter. He's a journalist, sure, but he's an advocacy journalist, especially on behalf of illegal Mexican immigrants. By the way, his own daughter now works for Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign. Trump also is involved in huge litigation with Ramos's employer, Univision. So not only is he an editorial activist for Mexican immigration, but he has at least two conflicts of interest with Trump. One of them is daughter and one's the lawsuit. I don't think most people know those details, and Ramos certainly doesn't disclose them in his daily reports on Trump and the Republicans. But everyone sort of knows by now that most journalists are really leftist activists. They're what I describe as the media party. They're just not honest and open about it. Oh, one last thing about Ramos. Here's a quote from his own website. Ramos has been in the United States for decades, for 30 years actually, but he's still a Mexican advocate, not just for Mexico as an independent country, but for effectively erasing the border with Mexico and for welcoming illegal immigrants from Mexico, people who sneak in, not just those who apply lawfully. Here is a quote from Ramos's own website. Take a look. "I've never ceased to be Mexican. I have 2 passports, and I vote in elections in both countries." What? He still votes in Mexico? He's been an American for decades. He has a TV show in America. America has made him rich and famous, but he's still a Mexican citizen, Mexican passport, Mexican voter? And he's grilling Donald Trump about Mexico without disclosing this or any of his other conflicts on his daily broadcasts. Yeah, look, there are a lot of flaws in Donald Trump, but smacking down America's media party ain't one of them. I'd say it's my favorite thing about him so far. And for his next trick, Trump has said he'll go on CNN's Republican debate if the president of CNN donates $10 million to charity. Just stop and think about that for a moment. Stephen Harper didn't want to go on CBC or CTV debates because they're so biased against him. Trump doesn't care because he knows he's such a superstar. He made the Fox News Republican debate the largest non-sports TV event in U.S. cable history. 24 million people watched it, mainly because of Trump, let's admit. And now Trump is hinting that he will boycott CNN unless they pay $10 million, not to him, but to charity. Again, it's the chutzpah. It's Trump's total lack of fear. It's a disrespect for that class of elites that the rest of us wish we could disrespect. And all of it telegraphs that Trump is a man who is afraid of no one. Not afraid of Iran, not afraid of China, not afraid of Mexico, certainly not afraid of CNN or Jorge Ramos. Look, I don't know if Trump will win the nomination, and if he does, I don't know if he'll win the election, and if he does, I don't know if he'll be a good president. I like Carly Fiorina more every time I see her, but like most people, I'm certainly enjoying the Trump spectacle along the way. For TheRebel.media, I'm Ezra Levant.